Hey guys, welcome to Kid Connect at Home. Thanks for joining me today because we have a great lesson that we're going to be talking about in just a few moments. First, let's do our remember verse. Let them know that you, whose name is the Lord, that you alone are the Most High over all the earth. Psalm 83:18. This is such a great verse because it just reminds us that no matter what happens, no matter who is around, God is Most High. And today we're going to be talking about how God restores. Do you know what it means to restore something? It means to make it new, to take it from what it was and make it into something better. Maybe you have an old chair and it's really beat up and you want to restore it so that it looks good, that you can sit in it, and you know you won't fall. Well, we're going to be talking about how God restores today in this next video from John. Check out what he's using to build his tower with, and maybe after this, you'll want to build your own tower. But don't forget to stick around and worship with us at the very end. Check this out.
One of my favorite things to do when I was younger was build stuff. I used to love to play with building blocks, but I used to try my best to build really tall towers. And one of my favorite ways to do that was kind of weird. It was with cups and it was with plates, right? You maybe don't build towers like this often, but it's really simple. You see, you put one cup down and then you put a plate down. And then you put another cup down and you put another plate down. And you put another cup down, another plate down, until you can get a really tall tower. It's a really simple game, especially when you're playing with someone else, as fast as you can to build the highest tower. See, the trick is that if you're going to build a really tall tower, you have to sometimes reach on your tiptoes, right? Sometimes when it gets really tall, it gets really challenging because you're really trying to concentrate. Sometimes you get too distracted, like I am right now. You can see it wobbling. And sometimes when you get too distracted, it's a recipe for disaster. Sometimes if you get too distracted, maybe you knock it down or you're careless. The worst, though, is when you're building a tower around some friends and someone thinks it's going to be funny to come and knock it over. Man, there's nothing worse when someone comes in and knocks your tower over. All of that hard work was gone. Everything seemed like it was lost or destroyed. And you know, it was a little bit like that in our big God story. You see, Israel had stopped following God, and they thought that they knew better. And they felt like they knew better than even God. And this made God's people weak. In fact, they were so weak that when the enemy came, the Babylonians, they came after them, God allowed Israel to be defeated. The king of Babylon, King Nebuchadnezzar, took many of Israel's children hostage, and he took them back with him to Babylon. Several years later, the Israelites in Jerusalem, they got frustrated and they rebelled again. They fought against the Babylonians, but they lost, and they were defeated by them once again. This time, the Babylonians, they took even more slaves with them to Babylon. A few years later, the Babylonians came again, and this time they destroyed the city of Jerusalem. They ruined the walls and the temple, and they turned it into rubble and ruins. And they did all that because the Israelites kept rebelling. For 70 years, the Jewish people lived in captivity. Their beloved city was destroyed, the temple was in ruins, and they could no longer offer sacrifices to God. Everything seemed hopeless. But God is able to restore even the most difficult circumstances. You see, God promised to bring his people home. And after many years, God began to fulfill his promise to restore Jerusalem and return his people back to their home. It took some time, but God began to use people like Ezra and then Nehemiah to bring people to their home and to rebuild the temple and then rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Eventually, Jerusalem was fully restored by God, and the people returned to live and worship there. God's plan of restoration was not only for Israel. He can restore the broken pieces of your life too. You may look at your life and see pieces scattered and broken. You may feel like ruins and rubble are all you see. But God is really good at rebuilding and restoring things. God restores.
It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. Step out, take a breath, knowing you're right beside me, always looking up. Your face is all that I see. Your love within me sets my spirit free. Now you got me singing. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You hear every word. God, I know you're listening. You know every hurt. You turn it on to dancing. Your love within me sets my spirit free. Now you got me singing. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day, and I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you.
It's all looking so bright. It's all feeling so right. It's all looking so bright. It's all feeling so right.
And I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day. And I'm feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you. You're making all things brand new. So crazy to believe that nothing's ever gonna come between all the love that you have for me. It's a new day. It's a new day. I'm feeling so alive with you. It's a new day. I'm feeling so alive with you. Feeling so alive with you. I'm feeling so alive with you.